Here's the thing with Monaco, right? I do love Monaco. It's a race I don't want to lose from the... Or I'll rephrase that. It's an event I don't want to lose from the calendar. It is... I know we've got tracks like Vegas now coming in and trying to sort of take that jewel in the crown title, but Monaco really is the jewel in the crown when it comes to the event. It is a real spectacle. And although the racing isn't always great, there's just something special about watching driver and car around the streets of Monaco, in qualifying in particular, as flat out as they can be, giving it everything between the walls, just kissing the walls as they go past. There's just something so special about that when it comes to Monaco. No, the race isn't always a belter. In fact, it rarely is a belter, but the qualifying is so good, and I wouldn't want to lose that spectacle from the calendar, which is why we often talk on this channel about what could we do to make Monaco different and keep it on the calendar. The problem is it's very difficult to do that in a World Championship because then you're sort of moving the goalposts. You're bringing the sprints in, for example, not for Monaco, but in general. They do shift the goalposts a little bit on a race weekend, but not enough to disturb the race itself, if you like. But I think with Monaco, you'd need to do something more drastic than that. That's why I'm not really sold on this mandatory 2 stops because, as I've said before, all you're doing is driving slowly to look after your tyres. Then when the guy behind pits, you absolutely floor it around the pit stops. You make sure you leave them compromised behind so they can't get the gaps, they're going to fall into traffic. Then you floor it around the pit stops, and then you back off again after the pit stops. I don't think it's going to change anything. I might be proven wrong on Sunday, but I would not want to lose Monaco qualifying because it is so special and it is so... Everything is on that Saturday. And the other thing as well, and it's a point that somebody made a few weeks ago, it's a really good point and a fair point. We were talking about Monaco, and they said that you look at Formula One as a whole as a sport, the big focus is on the driver and what they can do in that car on a track. So like today, it's all about the difference the driver can make. Whereas in Monaco, it's an opportunity for the strategists and the pit crew to make the difference. And so that kind of makes it feel a bit more like a proper team World Championship. So maybe look at Monaco as a weekend for the team rather than specifically for the drivers, if that makes sense. I think that's a really good way of looking at it. It just adds an extra dynamic to the weekend, but we're not going to see a ton of overtaking. If you're expecting it, you'll be very disappointed. We'll be hyped up next Saturday, and if the race is a snoozer, I'll bring my pillow and we'll be fine.